my name is Sujay, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how I made this Ironman helmet. Before we get started, I want to specify that these designs are not my own. I simply followed a guide made by Boxing Loop on Thingiverse, so if you want more detailed instructions on how to put together this Ironman helmet, I put a link to his channel and his Thingiverse page below, so check those out. I made a few modifications to his instructions, which you'll see in the video, but otherwise I'm kind of just going to be showing you how I printed, painted, and assembled this helmet. As you can see, it's a fully wearable helmet which you can open and close. So yeah, let's get into it.
The printer I'll be using is the Ender 3 Pro by Creality. I will be printing everything with white PLA filament, just so it's easy to paint. Like I said, all of these parts come from Boxing Loop's Thingiverse page. I'm not going to go through and show you how I printed all of them, but as an example, here we have the faceplate in Cura. We can go through and see all the layers. And yeah, let's go ahead and print this. So if you see right here, one of my supports actually fell down. So all this leftover material is getting added to the end of this part right here. So I'm hoping that this thing turns out okay. Otherwise I'm going to have to redo this print, which is just going to take a lot more time. But we'll see. And this is how the part turned out. So as you can see, it turned out pretty well. We'll go through that process a couple more times, and here you have all the parts printed. Now that all the parts have been printed, basically what we're going to do is alternate between sanding and priming. So first we'll go through everything with this set of files and 120 grit sandpaper. Then we'll do a layer of primer, go through everything with 150 grit sandpaper, another layer of primer, and then end with 240 grit sandpaper and one last layer of primer. So I'll save you guys the trouble of watching me do that 2 more times, but as you can see on our face mask we have a little crack here from where the support failed. So what we're going to do to cover that up is put on some Bondo glazing and spot putty, and that should smooth it right out. And this is what we get. So as you can see, our friend Ironman's got a little mustache now. Smooth it out with some 400 grit sandpaper, and there you go. So we got a nice smooth face mask now, all ready for painting. Alright, so finally we're ready to paint everything. So one of the major differences in the way that I'm going to paint my model versus how Boxing Loop painted his is I will be using spray paint versus I believe he did it with an airbrush. So it might look a little bit different, but I think it'll still turn out okay. The colors I'll be using, so first we have the mouth. As you can see, I masked off everywhere where the chin and jaw will be covering up. But for the mouth I'll be using black spray paint, the Tamiya color TS14. Then for the chin and the mask, as you can see, I primed over it one more time wherever I put the putty. So I'll be using gold TS21, Tamiya spray paint. And then for everything else, we will be doing 2 layers. So first layer is with the TS33 dull red to give it the color. And then I'll be doing another layer with TS95 metallic red to give it kind of that shine. Alright, let's get it. And the last thing we're going to do is take this Tamiya polishing compound and just put it on everything to give it that last layer of shine. And there you have it. Everything is painted. So finally we're ready to start assembling. As you can see, I've taken off all the tape and we'll be gluing this model together with Weld-On 16. Wherever these screw holes are in the model, I'm going to be putting these self-tapping screws to hold the model together. And there we have the jaw, all assembled. Next, we're going to put together these 3 sections of the dome. So again, we're going to use the weld-on 16 and the self-tapping screws to hold these together. And there you are. So as you can see, 3/4 of the dome is done. Now we have the electronics. So sorry it's a bit of a mess of wires right now. I'll be cleaning that up right after this. But first I'll show you what all the parts are and kind of explain what they do. We'll start with the Arduino board. So the Arduino board we'll be using is the Arduino Nano Every. This is what all of the parts are connected to, and it's also where the code is uploaded. So yeah, it kind of runs everything. Next we have the on-off switch. So this is what connects the battery to the Arduino board. Kind of helps connect the power to everything else. Right now it's in the on position, but if you want you can turn it off when you're not using the helmet. Next we have the battery, which is pretty self-explanatory. It gives power to the system. And then we have the button. So whenever you push this button, this is how you open the helmet. So once you press it, the lights will turn on and the motors will run. So we have our lights up here, and we have our motors right here. This one is for the face, and this one is for the head. And lastly, we have our potentiometer. So those are all the electronics. If you want to run it, you can press the button, and this will run the motors and turn the lights on. There you can see. And then press one more time, and it turns off. So we'll do it one more time. On and off. You can see the lights flicker a little bit too when you turn them on, just like in the movie, how when the helmet closes, the lights flicker a little bit. So yeah, those are the electronics, and now we're going to put them into the helmet. Alright, so now we got our battery case, our Arduino board in this nice little case here, and our on-off switch all connected to the dome. Now we have our motors put in the mounts in this nice little contraption here, so that if we hold it like this and press the button, it will raise and lower. So then we'll attach our motor mounts into our mask and visor like this, so that once we press the button, the face mask will raise and lower. So with the eyes, first thing I'm going to do is heat them with this candle and then bend them so that they're a little bit more curved and they fit into the eye shape. Next I'm going to take this drill and drill into the LEDs so that I can screw them into this eye holder. And we'll get something that looks like this. So now we're ready to put this into the mask. Now for the final steps. So as you can see, I attached the jaw, the faceplate, and the ears. If you take a look under here, you can see I got lazy and just kind of started duct taping everything, but I'm going to put some padding over it just so you can't see. But other than that, we're done. And now please enjoy these shots of the finished Ironman helmet.
So yeah, those are pretty much all the steps I took to make this Ironman helmet. The whole process took me about a month and around $250 to make, so with that being said, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like, subscribe, and I might do more stuff like this in the future. If you have any questions about any of the steps, please comment them below, but otherwise, thanks for watching.